Hello and welcome to Doodle Club. In this week's tutorial, I'm going to be inspired by the flowers that are on the roadside near to where I live. They're little oxeye daisies. And at the moment, the hedgerows and the verges by the side of the main road are full of these absolutely beautiful flowers. So daisy-like with the beautiful sort of white cream petals and this bright yellow centre. So welcome if you are new, and welcome back for those of you who've been with me for a while. It is so lovely to have you here. We're going to do this using just colouring pencils, and I'm going to show you step by step how you can use the natural world, the little flower that's on your doorstep, and I'm going to show you some skills that you can use to improve your drawing and your composition. Are you ready? Let's go. So for today's tutorial, you're going to need some colouring pencils, pencil sharpener and a graphite pencil, and your flower. So we are going to be drawing from life, which means having the object that we're going to draw right in front of you. Now I know that sometimes this isn't possible, and so I always take photographs, and you can use your photograph as well. So I'm using my Faber-Castell Polychromos colour pencils. You use whatever you like. And for the graphite pencil, I'm using a 2B. This has got quite mucky, but I'm using a 2B pencil. It needs to be quite soft. So 2, 3 or 4B pencil will be perfect. Make sure that your pencils are sharp. Now I'm going to be working directly into my sketchbook. You can use whatever paper you like. We're not going to be using paint, so it doesn't have to be very thick. How is everybody? I really hope you're well. Let's just have a look. So what we're doing is what I call, when I'm teaching my students, an observational study, and it's when we are looking carefully before we even make a mark. And what I want you to be doing is turning the flower around, looking at it from lots of different angles, because we're going to do some studies from the different angles, and then we will choose which ones we like to develop. So, the standard one would just be looking at it directly. But, in the wild, you're not going to actually see them like that. You're going to see them at a slight angle, and that's kind of what I think I want to do. See, I also like this with the petals that are bent and a little bit sort of twisted, blown in the wind, that kind of thing. And that's what we're going to look at now. I really, really love those shapes. But we're going to start off with this one, with this little quirky one here. And I'm going to start off by putting my circle, using the pencil very, very lightly. Don't hold it as if you were writing. Hold it lighter. So you're moving your fingers down the length of the pencil just a little bit, just to make it a little bit lighter. It takes a bit of practice. And then the overall shape is going to be kind of a bit like that, a little bit longer over this side than this side. And then so the petals are going to come out from the centre. Some are overlapping, like that. So you can see those two there. So we're just sort of building them up. Now you're not doing it absolutely exactly, but I really am encouraging you to really look. We're just putting very, very lightly as it goes sort of narrow into that middle bit, and like this little one here is underneath. Just sort of putting that one in. You can take your time, but don't labour on it too much. Remember, the mark you make is the correct mark. These ones are very close together. I do love daisies. They are, or the sort of like the daisy shape. I think it's just beautiful. I'm just going to do over this way as well. Bringing that round. This first drawing is just going to be in black and white. Just to show you how I build up the shape and how you can. So I'm going to go all the way around on this, and then we'll move on to the next bit. So I've done a few more of the petals all the way around, and I'm now going to look at some of the dark bits, some of the light bits, and I can see that it's, as it gets closer to the centre, it's a bit darker. So I'm just going to look at this petal here. So that's this one. And I'm just going to really look at where the shadows fall, just on this one petal. I'm going to zoom in and show you what I'm doing. I'm using my pencil very, very lightly. And it's got sort of little marks, little lines over within the petal. And when we do observational studies and really look carefully and closely, suddenly the world looks just so much more interesting, really. We really start to look, and it's something that I encourage all of my students to do, however old they are. Even my little tinies, I get them to look. And they will spot things that I haven't seen. Now there's a little shadow here caused by the petal above. I'm just going to pop that in there. So the marks that I'm making are the shadows formed by the light shining on different parts of the flower, and the marks on the petals themselves. So I'm just sort of bringing these lines in as well as we kind of just start bringing it together. Now I'm not going to do the whole thing because this is my sketchbook and I'm just playing around with an idea, and I want to do some more studies with different angles. So I'm just going to do, just sort of picking that up here. Put it around there. These petals here are very close together. I like that bit of shadow under that one. So you can see just slowly building it up, using the pencil lightly and then pressing a little bit harder when I'm sure that that's where I want my shadow. Like that. Just bringing it round like that. They are so pretty. So you can choose whatever flowers you want, whatever makes you happy. When you're doing an observational study, you're going to have to like what you do, otherwise you're going to get really bored. Just enjoy the luxury of just giving yourself some time to really look at something. So I'm just putting that together like this. Now, I am going to do a little bit of this middle bit here. And again, I'm not going to be able to get all those details. I don't want to, So I'm using different types of marks to give the impression of the texture that's in the middle. So I was kind of like dabbing at the paper, just making those. Can you see what's happening there? And if I put them close together, you'll see that it gets darker, and that will give that impression, which I am quite liking. Now I might come back to this and do a little bit more, but what I want to do now is to look at one of my other ones, especially this one with the petals that have flopped down, and we're going to do another study on the same page. So this little one here, I'm going to just take it at a different angle, really looking at it quite carefully as before. I can see that the yellow bit is there, and then I've got, so I'm just laying it down on the paper here. So I'm going to bring up that first petal, just looking at where they stick up. I've got another one round there. Then that floppy petal is down that way, and then that one comes underneath it a little bit and it goes into there in that kind of slightly ragged way. And one of the things that a lot of beginners, the sort of mistakes that beginners will make, is that you draw what you think is there rather than what is actually there. And it's very, very common. And this is where learning how to actually look is a real skill, and a skill can be learned. So if it's something that you are struggling with and you're not very good at, don't worry, really don't worry, because you will get better at it. You see, I'm just sort of putting in these other little lines as well, same as I did before. And again, this is in my sketchbook. I'm just playing around with an idea, and I might decide that no, this one just looks too weird. It's not going to work. But as an exercise, it's a good thing to do. I'm just going to come out this way, really looking at how the petals attach and seeing the shapes, just sort of using my pencil really lightly. I've sharpened my pencil. Make sure that you keep your pencil sharp. It was one of the signs I had up in my classroom when I was school teaching. Keep your pencil sharp. There we go. And let me know how you're getting on. Tell me your favourite. Put in the comments. Put what's your favourite flower. What sort of wildflowers do you have where you live? That's one of the things I absolutely love about this channel is we've got people from all over the world, and it's just lovely. What a lovely, friendly place this is. So I'm just going to put in this third one down there. I haven't given you a weather update. We've had some glorious weather here in southwest England. It's a little bit overcast today, but we have had glorious sunshine. And I went down to the beach and went for a swim, so that was nice. Let me just that. And we had Glastonbury Festival over the weekend, so I'm glad they didn't get too wet. My children went a few years ago. I don't think I've ever seen them quite so muddy when they came home. There we go. Let's pop that there. So you can see that I'm kind of really looking at that and putting that one there. And then I'm going to do some others. And the next one I'm going to do is this one here. A slightly different angle. Just going to do it over in this bit. And this one where we've got the petals that come forward and then some are going at different angles as well. I'm going to start off by doing the center bit. Just pop that there. And I'm going to do this petal here that comes over the top of it. And these are the most tricky to do because they look weird when you first put them on. It looks very strange. But as you start to build it up, you'll see how that works. And when we look at things from different angles and sort of more unusual angles, it's a very good way of doing a detailed observational study. And again, it might not be something that I'll end up using because it might just be too weird and a bit confusing. And I think, no, that's actually not going to work. But that's the whole point of a sketchbook, is you look at different angles, different shapes, see what works, see what doesn't. You say there's some very strange shapes going on here, which I actually quite like. Now I might use some of these studies to create and develop some more quirky designs, more sort of illustrative, sort of doodle type designs. I might use them to create patterns, and I might use them to create something a bit more abstract, but it could be a starting point. So just bring in that, see that bit goes around there. As I say, it's this is a very quirky shape, but I really wanted to show it to you because it's about looking at the ordinary and then looking at it in a slightly different way, because that's what artists do. And as I say to all of my students, when you come into my art room, you are an artist. And I will say that to you too. If you are watching my tutorial and joining in, then you are an artist as well. We're just on different paths. Some of you will be much, much more experienced. Some might just be beginning. Some might have been putting it off for years, and now you've got a little bit of time and you think, do you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to get my sketchbook out and I'm going to do some art. So you can see how this flower, this is the petal that's really weird, isn't it? Maybe just have a look at that a little bit more, because it's very strange. But that is how it is. Let's just put that one in as well. And we've got another one coming there. And I really like using the natural world as inspiration. And I encourage all of my students, and that includes you as well, to just see what is on your doorstep. We don't have to go very far away. Now, I'm very lucky. I live in a very beautiful bit of the world. And I expect you do as well, because there is beauty everywhere. Now, I didn't always live in the southwest of England. I was born in London and lived in cities for most of my life until about 5 years ago, when I fulfilled my dream of coming to live by the sea. And so we did that. Let's just put that stem. So you can see that one is a much more quirky idea, and I'm not sure whether that works or not, but I quite like it. There's some bits in there that I quite like. Right, in the next one, which I'm going to do down here, I'm going to start to add some colour. So I'm going to take this at a slightly different angle. I quite like this, so that centre bit is kind of more of an oval shape. I'm going to very, very loosely put in a few petals because I'm actually going to go straight in with colour. And it's very interesting, I think, when we draw things that are white, in how we can portray that idea of white when we're on a white paper, white background. And we do that by using greys. So I'm going straight in with my grey. I'm just going to be doing a little bit as I sort of pick up some of those little bits there. But with the natural world, where you have white, you will have different colours coming in depending on the environment. So if there's like the blue sky or lush green of foliage, that is going to come out in the white as well. Let's just put this here. I've got different shades of the tones of grey here. Just sort of bring out some of those, and it depends on your light source, but you can see that bit's coming together now. Let's just do this little one. So it goes in there. I'm going to go into this yellow, and again I'm using this kind of like scribbly technique because I want to get that idea of texture. Putting that texture in there. I will list the colours that I'm using as well. Let's just pop that like that. Just bringing these ideas together, and you're going to have little hints of green. Like that. And again, this is where your careful observation is going to come in as you put together little bit by little bit. And using your pencil lightly to begin with, and then gradually building it up. And what you could do, let me just here, is put a little bit, I'm going to put a little bit of blue in the background, as if I'm imagining that I'm actually drawing this outside. Which I'm not. I'm in my studio because it has actually started to rain outside. But I actually don't tend to draw outside very much. I might do a few doodles and a few little sketches. I take a lot of photographs. So you see how just sort of putting in this sort of little bit of a blue background, that is going to start to come together. I'll do a little bit more of that and show you what that looks like, and then we'll go on and do another couple of ideas on this side of the page as well. So with this one, I wanted to look at the underside of the flower. Again, sort of taking things from a different perspective, a different angle. And I think this, look at this texture here. How beautiful is that? And I really wanted to see if I can get that idea, and you can really see how the petals join, and they have this really beautiful shape. Let me just put that in there. Let's just get my first petal in like that, and it's this shape that I am really liking, and it's given me an idea of what I might do as a development, sort of looking at that shape as the petals join together. It's just so lovely. Again, I'm going to go in with colour actually. Now I can see the tint of yellow behind, so I'm mindful of that. I'm going to put in this sort of grey, a little bit of texture here as the petals come out. And then this one's really interesting actually, that needs sharpening. Let's just go in this one. When we're doing this kind of detailed work, it's very important that your pencil is sharp. And then there's some lovely shadows there. I hope that can be picked up on with the camera, because it is really lovely. Now, I am not a botanical artist at all, and I have such admiration for those artists who really study botany and get them absolutely accurate. I'm kind of more of getting the essence of it, but I do want to look carefully. That is part of this exercise, again, of looking, seeing what the shapes are doing. I love it. It's all coming together, right? I'm just going to go, let's just put a little bit of green on here. It's quite textured. I'll get some details of that. I just want to put that in there, because I love this hint of yellow around the edge. I love that. So pretty. So I can see that there are lines that come down into the stem. I'm sure these lines have a botanical name. And if you know what the botanical name is, you pop it in the comments. That would be brilliant. Thank you. Can you see what I'm doing here? Just sort of like bringing this idea slightly it's very lightly textured, and it's fun. It is great fun. I'm loving it, and loving that one down there as well. So look at things from a different angle. Look at where the shadows fall. Have that sort of childlike wonder. One of the reasons I absolutely love teaching littles, so my kind of 5 and 6 year olds, is that they find everything interesting. It's brilliant. It's like, ooh, all the time. And we lose that as we get older, don't we? We become very cynical and take things for granted. But when you start to really look at how a child looks at stuff, you think, oh, actually, yeah, that's actually quite amazing. So I love that. If you haven't joined the Facebook group yet and you'd like to, it's very, very friendly, very supportive. The link is in the description. Please answer the questions. I have to kind of make sure that people are real human beings and not those strange kind of bot people, which is very odd, isn't it? What's all that about then? Let's just pop that little one in there, because that's quite like the petal is just being squished on the page, but I actually quite like that shape. Let's just do a few more over this way. Thank you for all your lovely comments. I really do appreciate them. I read every single one. and some of them are really quite heartwarming and uplifting. It's lovely. It really helps to support my channel. I am relatively new to all of this YouTube stuff, although I'm a very experienced teacher. Or as one of my little ones said to me the other week, "You're quite old, Cate, aren't you?" I said, yeah, thank you for that. It's very sweet. But then, as my daughter reminded me that anything over 30 is considered old, isn't it? So anyway, so I will do a little bit more of that, and then I'll do another one at the top there. So the last one I'm going to do on this page, I've just propped it up on an eraser there. Again, slightly different angle. Just using my graphite, looking at those petals, seeing how they overlap. And this is what I like to do in a sketchbook when I'm just kind of doing some observational studies. You do some little studies. This one's twisted around there. And you fill the page. And I will do some annotations. I'll sort of write a little bit on here, not very much. And this one's a bit looser. You can see it's a bit more scribbly, not quite so detailed. And just seeing what that might look like as well. Let's go straight in and do a bit of colour for that one. And then the last thing I'm going to do, the final thing, is I'm going to take one of these and turn it into more of a graphic idea to give you an idea of what you could do with these studies and how you could develop an idea further. So again, I'm just kind of putting some sort of scribbly little shadows on here, just as a different way of showing the, let's just move that now, the daisy. So you can see it's much looser, like that. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to really zoom in on one aspect of the flower, and so it becomes abstract. I've turned a new page and I'm going to do this quite small. So I'm going to put in a little frame here, and I'm really going to look, again, I'm just doing my observational study. I'm just looking at what would be quite an interesting bit. And these two petals, the way they go in to that centre, I am really liking that. And I'm going to zoom in with my eye and see what happens. And again, it might be one of those things that actually it doesn't look good. It's just too peculiar. But there's a part of me that thinks this could be quite interesting. I'm going to bring that out there. It will have this sort of organic feel, and of course you know what it is, so you can identify where I'm getting the shape from. But can you see that if you were just to look at this without knowing what it was, it's a slightly kind of quirky feel, with these lines coming in like this, and I've got that around there. And then I'm going to come out this way. This is fun. And this could be something that I could use as a print, or I could turn it into a larger painting. So you're using these lines as my starting point. So I'm going to put that around there. I mean, it definitely has an organic feel to it. There's no getting away from that. I could have zoomed in even further, of course. But what I could do is completely change the colours. So that could be something that you could do as well, just like instead of them being sort of daisy colours and the colours of the natural world, they could be more quirky and ethereal. But I'm quite liking this sort of neutral greys and greens. That's just putting in some block colours here just to see what that looks like. And then actually what could be good is if I put in some background like this. And then I can sort of take this idea and expand it further. Yeah, let me know what you're doing. Let me know what flowers you're going to use if you haven't done that already. And post your ideas, your doodles, your experiments on the Facebook group. Or if you're too shy to do that, then you could post a photo of the flowers. Oh, let's just put that one in there as well. I'll do a little bit more of that and show you what it looks like. So I had a little bit of a play. I think I might use some of these ideas. I've done some very scribbly ideas, and this is the thing with your sketchbook. Just no one looks at your sketchbook except you. So if you don't want to finish anything, you don't have to. I rarely finish anything in my sketchbook because my sketchbook is for ideas and for playing and for making a bit of a mess and for thinking, oh, does that work? Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but that's okay. And so these ideas, which I might take further or I might not, come from my careful studies on the previous page. I really hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know. I really hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I love teaching drawing, and it's one of those skills that so many people think they can't do. And I just hope that you've now able to pick up that pencil and start. It's really important. And to use what is around us and perhaps something that's personal to you. So if you haven't liked and subscribed and you think that you might like to watch more, then that would be lovely. And you could look at this one or this one. I'll see you next time. Take care.